When am I going to be ready? This is the question that we always ask ourselves. If you have a creative project, if you have something that you're like, I've been wanting to start that, okay, but you just feel like, I don't know if I'm ready. Okay, then this is the video for you. If you don't know me, my name is Mandy. I'm a career coach and writer here on YouTube, and I talk about how to bring more creativity and joy into your life. So you might be asking yourself, when am I going to be ready? I have these ideas, but I don't necessarily feel motivated, and I don't even know if the ideas are good, and should I go after them? And there's like 6 different things, and so I just don't know. And this leads us to, well, just like not doing anything, because we're waiting for an emotional state where we feel motivated, where we feel ready, and we just never start because we're like waiting for that idealized emotional state. We're waiting for that time when we have all our ducks in a row. We're like, maybe this time next year I'm going to be more financially stable. Maybe when I finish my degree, what if I just get one more certification? I just don't think that I'm qualified yet, so I'm going to just wait it out. I got to be honest with you. I think you're ready. I just do. Why do I think you're ready? Because we're having this conversation. Because you are interested in being ready. This goes back to our training as people, right? It's like we've been trained in school and in our jobs that we better have everything buttoned up, that we better have completed all of the steps, and that to only come to something if you're fully prepared. Does everybody have everything in their backpacks? Okay? That's just how we've been trained. So this idea then that I'm going to start something and I didn't get the approvals, I don't have the qualifications, I don't have the perfect certification, I'm like half-assing it, and you want me to start? Like, this seems crazy. So in today's video, I'm going to share 4 ideas that I think can support and deepen our understanding of how readiness is like a false concept, and how art wants to be made and it does not have to be perfect. Okay, so the first idea is that not feeling ready is actually just our coping mechanism for pain aversion. Okay? When you start something new, it is painful, meaning it's uncomfortable. You're not very good at it. You're flailing around. Maybe people are watching, and then that's embarrassing. So not being ready to do your creative projects is just the equivalent of like not wanting to get into the pool because it's like not that warm of a day and it's like 65 degrees and you're like, I know the second I get in there, my ass is going to freeze. And so you're just like standing at the pool, like not letting the water touch your waist. And you're just like, nope, like I don't want to do it. But you're in your swimsuit, like you wanted to get into the pool. So you just have to brace those first couple seconds of literally when like the cold water invades your body and you're like, this is like so awful. Like, why am I doing this? So it's less about feeling that there's a state of readiness, but it's more about being willing to sit with the pain that comes with starting something, the unknowing, the inability to control things, the fact that you are probably going to get your ass handed to you because you're not that good at it. And why aren't you good at it? Because you're starting. So one tip for you, if you want to build resilience in this area, is a little bit of exposure therapy, meaning like you have to just start doing things that are uncomfortable and hard every single day so that when it comes to your creative world and your creative blocks, you're just used to it, okay? So this is tiny things like taking the stairs instead of the elevators. This is things like walking the long way home just to get a little more steps in. This is things like doing the meal prep instead of ordering takeout. Like do things that take one extra step and have a little bit of discomfort, annoyance, or even pain involved, because you have to get used to it. You have to not be afraid of that. So number 2 is that the creative process is an unfolding. Okay, specifically, I mean, the way that we relate to our projects is that I don't think that there's usually some kind of grand master download. I think typically it's more like there's a series of small downloads. And then when you agree to go on this ride, okay, imagine you're like strapping into the ride, right? We can only enter one room at a time. So the great creative vision unfolds and it reveals itself in graduated stages, okay? So the beginning of your creative unfolding, you are meant to be a novice. You are meant to be someone who like does not know what the last scene is going to be. And so this idea that like, oh, I have to prepare, or I have to be in this heightened state, or I have to be really open, everything has to be optimal, is just not true. So it's Friday, it's spring, and there's a lot of pollen in the air, and I'm like allergic to something. All morning I've been like, ooh, like so puffy. I actually, in the last scene, I had to film it, I had to pause it because I sneezed in the middle, and like, there's a part of me that's like, okay, today's not the day to film like, oh, you look puffy, okay? But at the same time, I'm like, no, because I want to show up. So instead of trying to control everything, I just sneezed. And then I just came back onto the camera. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's the equivalent. If I had waited for all the conditions to be perfect and everything to be like hunky-dory, this video would never be made. So it's less about readiness and it's more about just a commitment to say, I'm ready to go on the ride. I don't have to be prepared. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be knowledgeable about what's to come. I'm just agreeing to strap in, and no matter what comes, one door will open at a time. And whether I fall off or whether I sneeze or whether I trip or whether I get lost, like, I'm in the ride now, okay? It's just about committing to being on the ride. The third idea is that I really want us to evaluate and investigate, like, what is it that we're actually scared of? And this is going to be different for everybody, okay? But when you say I'm not ready, like, take the thought all the way. I'm not ready because what? Are you afraid that if you're somehow caught flat-footed, that if you show up unprepared, that it's not going to be your best effort and therefore people are going to laugh at you? Like, take it all the way. Or have you just been trained that like you want to put in your full effort and you just know you're not in that place right now? So it's like a little bit of perfectionism. It's a little bit of like wanting the instant gratification. Like, understand yourself and try to unpack for yourself, like, what is it that is actually stopping me? And as you let it all out and as you evaluate this, you're definitely going to be totally overwhelmed with the multi-layers and depths of your own confusion, okay? You might be like, oh my God, like there's just so much junk in my brain, and the levels of rationale and contradiction are so deep and so heavy. Like, I am just overwhelmed. Okay, fuck it. I'm not going to do anything. Okay. My encouragement to you is just understand that level, if you have 10 levels deep, 10 feet deep of just junk that comes up, that's great. Okay. That's going to be part of your material, if I'm being honest with you, and to not be afraid of that. That means that you have a lot of energy and a lot of emotion towards this thing. I mean, look at how much you've just unpacked, and we're just starting to pull it out, right? We're just starting to release it. So I think that if you had zero reaction, if you were like totally neutral and totally cool and like did not give two shits, then it doesn't matter to you. I think the fact that you have so much just junk or baggage, like whatever we want to call it, like we all carry that, right? But the fact that you have so much of it, it only means one thing: that you care, that this means something to you, that you want to get it right. And so that's the only signal that we have to listen to. All that noise, all that heaviness, that weight that we're carrying around doesn't mean that we're bad people. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that you care. And this is one area of your life where your anxiety has decided to plop down in front of and obsess about. And that's okay. All we have to do is just retrain or redirect our anxiety a little bit. And the best place for anxiety to go is actually creative ideas. Take all of that worry, take all of that creative analysis that you're doing and direct it towards the project itself. Don't worry about you and your ego and how you'll be perceived and the fact that people will watch and what will they think and what will they judge. It's not about that. Because all of this pent up energy, all of this compression, all of this stuff that you have, okay, it actually signals something deeper, which is that you actually have something to say. You have a hurt or a wound that has been unprocessed. And in order to heal that in yourself, you need to engage in the expression process. You need to share your thoughts. You need to be creative. So that message that's trying to come out, whether that's a message of empowerment or a message of love or a message of just healing, right? Through storytelling, through your creative acts, through your writing, through your dancing, through your whatever, okay? That's the message. And you have to get out of your own way because ultimately the message that you're trying to share is going to be bigger than your fear. Your message of helping other people, your message of hope and your message of encouragement is going to be larger than your fear of being seen. And the world needs to hear that. I can't tell you how many times people have been like, I've heard what you've said before, but just something about the way that you said it, like it actually landed. And the same goes for you. Like, do you know sometimes you'll have a friend and they'll just like say something in a way that you're just like, holy moly, like that, oh my God, like it finally makes sense in my brain. Right? And so it's like the world needs your way of interpreting it, and the way that it's going to come out of your mouth is going to land for people that it like the message hasn't landed before. So it's so important that you get out of your own way so that you can do the important work of your art. Okay, the fourth and final idea is that creativity kind of has its own plan. And the best thing you can do is just listen to it and be sort of its messenger. I don't know how else to say it. And I'll tell you a story. Like, I, a couple months ago, had this idea of doing a digital course. And I ended up calling the course, like, Make More Art. And it was a whole, I think it was like a 4-part course, and I like scripted everything. There was a workbook. I did the whole thing. Okay, I recorded everything. It was like live, okay? And I had that idea for so long. And I was like, okay, I have to take my own medicine. Like, this idea just wants to be born. I don't know. It's out. It has to be born, okay? I didn't know how I was going to market it. I didn't know anything, okay? So to this day, I have not sold a single copy of that course. In fact, I took it down off my website because I just sort of realized, I was like, it's not time for that. And it just didn't feel like I just felt like pulled in other directions. However, I was so glad to have finished it because I don't know how everything fits together yet, but I almost feel like that was a creative block that I had to birth and like release, okay? And then from that, other things are flowing, okay? So long story long, what I'm trying to say is like sometimes you have poopy duds. Like sometimes you have these like great fantastic ideas and then you spend 20 hours on them and like nothing happens. Nothing happens. But you know what? I have so much love for that project. And even though it isn't like living its best life right now, it's kind of just like hanging out, in the dark. Like I feel like that was some kind of like mental block. And then I proved to myself that like, okay, you can do that and now you can move on. So sitting in that kind of like unknown, right? Because am I going to market? It just doesn't feel like it's the time. I actually was like, do I give it away for free? Like, what am I going to do with it? I don't know yet. Okay. But what I'm trying to also say here is like creativity and commerce are actually separate things. A lot of what I try to talk about is like ways to integrate that, because I do think obviously like we all have to make a living. But in this case, I am not worried about it. I'm not thinking about it in terms of like utility and like, you know, how much time did I spend and how much money was therefore wasted, because I just think about it and it makes me happy. I'm like, maybe that was just for me. Maybe that was just for me to prove to myself that I could do that, right? And when the time comes, maybe I'll reuse some of the material in some other way, but not, here's the thing, not every creative project has to be a commercial success, right? Like if I never sell that, and if I just keep that to myself, like, then that's what it was meant to do. And that's great. And I think I'm actually like breaking a part of my brain, because I was so trained to always have everything be commercially, you know, like what are the data analytics behind every single thing that you do? And I'm like, sometimes there's no ROI. Sometimes literally like it was just for the fun of it. It was just to do it. Maybe that was some creative fuel, some distraction that I needed as I was writing this book. And then maybe, oh my God, maybe that is part 3 of my book. Like, okay, yes, probably part 3 of my career wounds book is a whole section on make more art. And probably I just wrote it and it's there waiting. You see, or not. Even if there's absolutely no utility ever, I still love it. I'm still happy with it. Still glad I did it. And I'm going to add one more idea onto this, which is that you guys know I'm like working on this book, Career Wounds. I'm in the second draft phase. Okay. I really believe that when it comes to creativity, sometimes you have to hit the root, the core, the heart of your trauma before you can, like, you have to address your trauma before you can create something beautiful. And also the trauma is beautiful. So let me explain. So the first draft that I wrote of this book, it was so raw. It was so personal. It was about like all of my personal shit that I went through with my career and different companies and different bosses and different relationships and all the ways that I had been hurt. Plus I talked about like my relationship with my parents and my family and like every fucking grievance that I ever had in my entire life, I put on the page. Okay? And when I turned it in, my editor was like, look, this writing is very alive, but it needs more structure. So we really want you to work on it. Okay? They were so kind. And also it was true, because this book is to uplift people, is to empower people. It's not to trauma dump on them. Okay? So I went through all the phases of grief. Like the original was like, why is my story never good enough? Like, why can't I finally tell my version of things? And in a way, it was like, I did. And I had to get those words on the page and have them exist to release them and also release myself from my own cage. Like that, like, it was like before I could write a self-help book for other people, I had to excise my own shit. I had to lay it all, I had to vomit it up. I had to get rid of it. I had to say goodbye to it. Okay? So nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever stupid or like waste of time does not exist in creativity. Okay, I look back, yes, that was painful. It was painful that I feel like, oh my God, last summer, I just like locked myself in a room, and the whole summer everyone was outside with their little inner tubes on the river, and I'm there like, right? And I look back and I'm like, what a waste. And it's like, girl, you healed your wounds by writing your truth. Now, whether that specific story is appropriate for your first book that is a self-help book, not a memoir, right? That's just something you have to come to peace with. You don't need to air all your dirty laundry to the world in order to be at peace. And maybe you just had to get it out so that you could get out of your own way. And then the universal wisdom that you live firsthand, okay, but you don't need to drag people in public, that you, like your mother, okay, you don't need to drag your mom, okay, doesn't need to be a part of the blueprint. It could be the essence, the energetic essence of the book, but it does not need to be the subject matter of the book. The book is for people, okay? And one day when you want to write a memoir, then all of that can be in there, but this is not that book. And so I say that to say, like, whatever you're working on, whatever you feel like this is a waste of time, why did I do this? This is not commercially successful. This doesn't make any sense. This is nobody's ever going to see this. It's never going to see the light of day. Yes. And maybe that is correct. Maybe that is the point. You just had to vomit up your own stuff so that you could actually make the art that you want to make. And also leaving room for the possibility that maybe your art does need to be gutsy and raw and drag people. And that's fine. Like, great. But let's just be open to both of those worlds. And then it's up to you to determine how far you want to go, or how much restraint you want to show, or how you want to direct the art into a specific channel that can be heard by a group of people that only you could say. Okay? Okay, if you saw yesterday's video, you know that at the end of every video, I'm now going to try to do a plug for my YouTube membership program. Okay, and you know that I'm sending out these super cute physical journals with tarot cat cards, and let me show you a handwritten note from me. Look how freaking cute this is. It says, "From the desk of Mandy Tang," okay? And I just got $300 worth of crystals in, and these are going out. It's May 23rd. If you become a member, it's probably in the next month or so, okay, if this video is still around. Why do I say it like that? Like, where's this video gonna go? Weird. Okay, but these are the welcome gifts that I'm going to be sending out. Why? Because like everything's digital these days, and I just thought, what is something special? What is a thank you that I can do for my members, for supporting me, for supporting this channel, that's just extra? That's like a little bit extra. I feel like I'm always saying in my videos, like, basically be extra, like go the extra mile, like be yourself, be authentic, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I wanna live what I say, and so I'm giving myself permission to be extra. And what you do when you sign up under the $5.99 tier is then you get a link to a special website where you just fill out your address. It comes to me, then I know where to send all this stuff. I pack it up and it goes out to you. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and I can't wait to see you soon. Okay, bye.